It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 27th day of July, 2022. I'm Chillie Falls, your host, coming to you from Forest, Virginia, Central Virginia area near Lynchburg. Today's lead story is fire and explosion on a cruise ship. We'll have that here in a couple minutes. And today's show, folks, is pre-recorded as opposed to live like normal. As while when this airs at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I will be in the oncologist's office. Today is National Creme Brulee Day. I eat creme brulee. It's not one of my favorites as far as a dessert item, but I use creme brulee creamer in my coffee in the morning. I prefer that over anything. So I'm a fan of creme brulee. But anyway, it's creme brulee day, so go out and do something with creme brulee today. Find some, use it for dessert, make some, or cheat like me and use it in your coffee. Cruise ship sailing today from North American ports. We've got the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise from down in West Palm Beach. From Miami, the Scarlet Lady. Grandeur of the Seas out in Galveston. The Zuiderdam and Seven Seas Mariners sail from Vancouver. The Carnival Spirit and the Norwegian Spirit sail from Seattle. In Anchorage, the Grand Princess sails, and we have land packages starting for Royal Princess, Majestic Princess, and Norwegian Jewel. In Fairbanks, we have land packages for the Royal Princess, and out in Honolulu, land packages for Pride of America. In addition to the fire and explosion story on a cruise ship this morning, and actually a second fire, we have a Rockslide itinerary change update. That's from Alaska, of course, from Skagway. Carnival to reopen specialty restaurant. ABC's hit reality show At Sea. And more here at 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from, all the big guys, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, you name it. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News. And up pops the fat travel guy. And as always, in the description of the podcast, you can get a link for the video feed in case you want to check out any pictures or clips that I may use on that day's show. All right, I'll be back with today's news after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. All right, a little bit of problems over there on the other side of the pond. A fire and explosion on a cruise ship. Monday evening, an explosion occurred on a river cruise ship docked in the center of Amsterdam. 200 people were evacuated from the ship, and many treated for smoke inhalation. The explosion happened in the vessel's battery room, after which a fire broke out. After guests had just embarked on the Viking Jamir, they had to quickly leave the ship again after the explosion, which occurred around 6:30 in the evening. All 200 guests had been assembled in the ship's main lounge area for a welcome briefing, making evacuation relatively simple. Viking Cruises said, "We can confirm that there was a minor incident on board Viking Jamir in Amsterdam. All guests and crews are safe, and the ship was fully operable and navigable. Pay attention to that line. At this time, we expect that all future departures will proceed as scheduled. The local fire brigade, ambulances, and other first responders quickly arrived on the scene as the explosion was followed by fire in the main engine room. Although all guests managed to leave the vessel without issue, some crew members did suffer from smoke inhalation and underwent monitoring by medical personnel. After being on the deck for about an hour, guests were brought on board the river ship River Diamond, moored next to the Viking Gemir. Guests were later brought to Viking Rolf for dinner. After dinner, Viking arranged transport for guests to the Schiphol Airport Hilton Hotel for a briefing. What will be happening next is unclear, and there has not been further word from Viking yet or from officials in Amsterdam. Local authorities have been investigating the vessel to ensure that there are no toxic fumes on board before the crew is allowed to reboard the ship. It seems unlikely that Viking Gemir will be returning to service this summer season. Well, that's not what Viking said. Viking Gemir is one of the newest river ships for the world's largest river cruise operator, Viking Cruises. The vessel was one of 8 new river ships christened by Viking in January this year. Viking Gemir has a hybrid propulsion system consisting of 3 diesel engines and a large capacity battery pack. According to early reports, it is the large capacity battery pack where the explosion and fire occurred, which would explain the careful nature in which the Dutch fire brigade is dealing with the vessel. The fire on board Viking Gemir is already the 3rd incident with one of the company's ships this year. Just 2 weeks ago, Viking Hermod collided with a cargo vessel during a cruise between Basel and Amsterdam. The cruise ship sustained minor damage during the accident, which was caused due to the cargo vessel suddenly changing course. And in May of this year, Viking Agir hit a bridge pillar on the Danube in Slovakia, injuring 11 people. Besides accidents, Viking river ships have to deal with even more significant problems as river levels in Europe are dropping to record low levels. The heat wave we've talked about several times on this show has reduced parts of the River Rhine, Western Europe's most important waterway, to the lowest seasonal levels in the last 15 years. While river ships will still be able to operate, it will likely include guests having to change ships when the water levels become impassable. In these cases, the cruise lines would transport guests from one vessel to a different ship that is further up or down the river where the water levels are still deep enough to operate. So we don't have a clear answer as to what happened to the folks that were initially on board. And a mixed message as to what's going to happen to the ship that had the fire. Hi. Simultaneously, almost, there was another fire up in Germany. The German police are investigating 2 fires that broke out in the cruise ship Arvia, which is currently under construction in Meyer-Werft in Papenburg. The small fires that broke out were located in the storage room where workers found a burning garbage bag and inside a nearly completed cabin, said the police spokesman. During the incident, one security guard was hospitalized and treated for smoke inhalation. Meyer-Werft Fire Brigade and the fire brigades from Papenburg and Eichendorf arrived at the site where they were able to quickly distinguish the fires. The initial damages to the ship was estimated around 60,000 euros, and the police are investigating all scenarios, saying that arson cannot be ruled out, according to a German news outlet. All right. Up in Alaska, multiple Princess Cruise itineraries for several ships must be adjusted due to a dock closure in Skagway. The White Pass and Yukon Route Railway, which owns one of the largest docks in the popular port of call, has determined a grave rockslide risk to the dock, requiring immediate closure to safeguard cruise ships and visitors. The closure of the railroad dock's forward berth impacts several Princess Cruise ships' itineraries, as this dock is the only one capable of supporting larger ship visits. While the railroad dock now fully closed, the second berth was closed earlier last month after a small rock slide, which caused minor damage to Discovery Princess, the cruise line's Royal class vessel, the largest in the Princess Cruise fleet, will need to make itinerary adjustments. While schedules are still being arranged, several current changes have already been confirmed. This includes the current sailing of Majestic Princess, a round-trip 14-night voyage of the Glacier's Grand Adventure itinerary, which will no longer call on Skagway. That was scheduled for yesterday. Instead, the ship visited Icy Strait Point. Crown Princess, which is scheduled to visit Skagway today, will still be able to visit the port as the smaller Grand class or Crown class vessel docks at a different pier, which remains open. Upcoming Skagway visits on Royal Princess, which is also today, Discovery Princess tomorrow, and Grand Princess the 30th, are all being adjusted, but details have not been finalized yet. With the risk to the dock described as significant for future failure and rock slides that may threaten the dock, it is likely that additional cruise itineraries may be impacted as well. As other cruise lines also use the same dock, any travelers with upcoming cruises from any line that visits Skagway should stay alert for possible itinerary changes. Celebrity, Royal, Norwegian, and Carnival all use the railroad dock and are likely to need changes, whether to where they dock in Skagway or to remove the port of call altogether. But such decisions will be up to the individual cruise lines. Smaller ships from Holland America, Viking, Disney, Regent Seven Seas, and Silver Seas also have port visits scheduled for Skagway through the end of July, but are not planned to use the railroad dock. They're already scheduled to the smaller docks. So anyway, if you still have a Alaska cruise scheduled this year, stay attuned for possible changes in your itineraries. And another sign that cruise staffing shortages are lessened and the cruise experience is returning to near normalcy. Carnival Cruise Line is set to reopen its popular Cucina del Capitano specialty restaurant. Set to reopen on August the 6th, the Italian eatery is an option aboard 9 ships, and it's been closed since mid-May. While the restaurants remained open for lunch with a limited menu, there are no dinner offerings other than the select entrees made available free of charge in the main dining rooms. And of course, Cappuccino del Capitano has been a charge of $18 in the past, which is the least expensive of the specialty restaurant add-ons. And finally, this morning, the reality romance television show, The Bachelorette, will hit the high seas in an epic journey for the 2 bachelorettes to find love on board Virgin Voyages' Valiant Lady. This will be the first time that the reality TV series will be filmed on a luxury cruise line and will air on ABC next week. Duo Bachelorettes Rachel Recchia and Gabby Wendy will set sail in a 2-on-1 adventure to find love on board the Richard Branson billionaire-owned cruise line Virgin Voyages. Needless to say, this was from a press release, folks. Upcoming episodes of the hit romance series The Bachelorette will be filmed aboard the line's Valiant Lady, featuring romantic and adventurous dates highlighting the Mediterranean's most alluring backdrops. And I promise you, I won't be watching. I'm not a reality show fan. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up. Again, sorry that this is pre-recorded. Sorry there will be no chat room today. However, you can leave comments if you'd like. I'll leave a comment to the video. And I will see everybody back here tomorrow. If you're new to this channel, we do this live most days, but I'm having to be in a doctor's appointment today. As always, we appreciate thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It helps the channel a lot. And of course, it doesn't cost anything. Hit the bell notification. You'll be notified when I go live or a new video is up. That's it for today. I'll see everybody back here, same time, same place at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow. This is the Old Fat Travel Guide. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all meet on the high seas. This is the Old Fat Travel Guide. See you tomorrow. I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.